Last page, let's do it. Okay, triangle theorems and constructions. So we want to look at these questions and come up with an answer. So it says select all is true if we force this to be parallel. Okay, so the first thing I see is 2 would be congruent to that. And because of vertical, this would be congruent to that. So we can kind of pass along this. If that's 20, this is 20, so this has got to be 20. All right, what else do I see? Well, I see if these two are parallel, right, 1 and 4 have to be congruent. And this is vertical with 60. So that means 1 is 60 and 4 is 60. So right now, if the measure of angle 1 I have is 60, the measure of 4 is 60. What was the measure of, let's see, I can't see this anymore. I forgot. 2. Okay, 2 was 20. 2 is 20. All right. So now we know that this is a straight line, correct? So it has to add up to 180. So 180, take away 20, take away 60. This angle has to be 100. Right? So this one would have to be 100. So the measure of angle 3 would have to be 100. And notice we see this triangle, that has to add up to 180, and it does, right? 100, 20, and 60. Each of those different sizes. So I think we solved everything. Okay, so let's go over here. Was 2 60? No. Was 3 100? Yes. Was 2 and 4 80? So is the measure of angle 2, which is 20. The measure of 4 is 60. If I add them together, I get 80. Yes. 2 is 20. 3 is 100. That's not going to get me 80, so I'm going to say no. And is the measure of angle 2 20? Yes. Okay, so I said yes that many times. All right, question number 2. What is the measurement of B? So they're kind of tricking you. They're laying this on its side. So I'm just going to take my Christmas tree and flop it back on its base. You see what I'm saying? Because these are the sides that are congruent. This helps me see that these angles have to be congruent. And so this 62 matches this 62, and we can solve for the angle on top. Okay, so the two angles, 62 and 62, plus the other unknown angle have to add up to 180. That's called the Triangle Sum Theorem. So combining like terms and subtracting. Right, subtraction property of equality. We get that this number has to be 56. Now, what were they solving for? Interesting, they were solving for angle B. And so we solved for 56, which is one of our choices. Nice work, guys. Now, question number 3 and 4 go together with this picture. It says, what is y? Well, we see this triangle, and it has to add up to 180. So 180, take away 46, take away 51. All right, so we get 83 here. Again, we can double check. Does 83 plus 46 plus 51 add up to 180? If it doesn't, something went wrong, and I'll just have to recalculate. Yep, it adds up to 180. All right, now vertical angle theorem tells me this would also have to be 83. Right? And so that's 38. So I can do the same thing. 180 take away 83 is 97. Take away another 38 is 59. Therefore, this has to be 59. I can double check by adding these together. If I'm a little paranoid, maybe I made a mistake, go ahead and type that in to double check. Okay, I added those up and I got 180. So what is y? We found y to be 83. What is x? We found x to be 59. Okay, fairly straightforward. We're hoping for those types of questions. What is the value of x? Same thing, triangle sum theorem. So the triangle sum theorem states that if you have 3 angles of a triangle, they have to add up to 180. So here, let's call angle A 2x minus 33. Angle B we'll call 2x plus 15. And angle C we'll call 2x. All these have to add up to 180. All right, so as we combine these terms, 2, 4, 6, I have a total of 6x. Now as we combine these, I have negative 33 plus 15. We'll get negative 18. Okay, and that should add up to 180. So we'll add 18 on both sides to get 6x equals 198. Then we'll divide 6 on both sides. This leaves us 198 divided by 6. I get the answer 33. What is the, now I got to verify that they're asking. They could have asked for BC or AB, but they did ask for X. That's my answer. Okay, last one here. It says in a triangle XYZ. So if they describe it and I don't see one, I put one here, right? Y they said is 48 and X is smaller than Y. So what does that mean? Okay, so I'm going to maybe draw a little bit better here. 48, so the 45, that looks like about a 40. Y, X is smaller. So what does that mean? Well, that means this is either the medium side or the long, and when I go opposite the X, this is the smallest side. Does that make sense? Because you're forcing X to be smaller. Write the sides of the triangle least to greatest, smallest to largest. Well, when I think about this one doesn't necessarily have to be 90, but it has to be pretty big because I'll pick an angle, let's just pick one, like the number 47. So let's say I have 48 plus 47. What would be the angle that would be left over here? 48 plus an angle smaller than it, so we'll just guess 47. And when I subtract that from 180, I get 85. So this could be the longest side because this has to be the smallest number, okay? So what is the smallest side? It says rate the sides least to greatest, and make sure you write your name here, right? And the date and the period. And this should be for period 7 or 8, right? So, but anyway, if I'm listing as smallest to greatest, it looks like XY is smallest because it's opposite the smallest angle. The angle that's shorter, that's smaller than 48. Then I have this side. Oh, pause for a minute. This has to be called Z, right? X is smaller. X is smaller than Y. Okay, yes. So the smallest side would be, let's start over. The smallest side would be YZ because it is opposite the angle with the X. That's the smallest. Then next would be XZ. That's our medium side. And then the longest would be XY. Because angle Z has to be the biggest angle, so the other two sides would hold the longest side. Well done, guys. See you next time.